Hello everybody, we're going to talk about Greek culture and its artwork. Specifically in this one, Greek vases. Ancient Greece was the center of philosophy, science, and art in its time. It is now a great influence and has been on all Western societies. You can see the influence most in our culture and art, and we're going to learn a little bit about the Greek history and then more about its culture and art. Now you are learning about this in your history classes. If you haven't, you're going to be, and we are going to be talking about a little bit of the things that you might have already known. First of all, Greece is located in southeast Europe. It's surrounded on three sides by the Aegean, the Mediterranean, and the Ionian Seas. Now it started when tribes from the north settled in this area about 1500 BC. Now the ancient Greece, they never became a nation. They remained city-states who were independent of each other. And you can see that there are tons of little islands here where they all remained independent. Now, two reasons why they did not become a nation right away was there's lots of separation with oceans, and this is mountainous, so there's lots of mountains and oceans that are separating them from each other. Also, pride and jealousy. They didn't always get along. They did not join together right away, but in the 15th century BC, they were invaded by Persia, and they joined together because it was a common enemy and they wanted to win, and they formed the Delian League. Now, the Delian League collected a lot of money, and they were used to build a lot of amazing structures and buildings that you probably know about a few of them, and we are going to be talking about that more in our next video. Now, more about the art side of this. Greek painters were much more famous in their time than sculptors, but paintings and also many sculptures didn't survive. Sometimes they used materials that crumbled away, did not last the test of time. People that know things about scrapbooking will know that now we use acid-free paper and color-fast papers that will last longer because we know more about how things get destroyed over time. Also, there are canvases that you can get that are acid-free, so makes their paintings last longer. We have learned these things because of what has happened in the past. Now, we do know how the paintings might have looked or how the sculptures might have looked because of a few things. First, ancient writings, descriptions of those, but also the surviving pottery gives us an idea of what these paintings and sculptures look like. Again, historians can use the descriptions and also existing pottery examples to recreate artwork. Now in these pictures here, this is an artwork that has been recreated for the replica of the Parthenon in Asheville, Tennessee, which is a temple from Greece, which was for Athena, the goddess Athena. And this is a sculpture of Athena by Phidias, or it is a replica of that statue, of that sculpture, and it is in fact made by Alan Lequire. He was commissioned to build this for the replica of the Parthenon in Asheville, Tennessee. And there's pictures of how big it is, and also a picture of it in process when he was painting it. And I think that you might recognize it from a movie that you might have seen. Now, we're going to talk more about Greek vases because this is what we're going to do our project on. They are how we found out how the paintings looked, and also how we discovered a lot about Greek culture. And the paintings on these vases were simple but kind of realistic, and they also had a lot of detail in the designs around them. Now there's two different kinds of paintings that they did, and one has black silhouettes of people on them and one has what's called red silhouettes. Now, silhouette is a picture of someone either from the side or, I don't know if you've done this with your classes before. You made silhouettes of your own face where you traced the outline and not a lot of the detail on the inside, and that's what a silhouette is. It's almost like you, and you might have done this too, but got a light and put it against your face and just traced that outline. So silhouettes are mostly outlines of people but with some detail, a very little bit of detail on them. Also, here are examples of some styles of these Greek vases, and they're named and they have different uses. So there's amphoras, all these different kinds. There's tons of different varieties and different uses for these vases, and there's a link right here that you can follow. And we're going to look at this really quickly, where you can basically click on one and find out what it means, and there's examples. Amphora is to store in solids and liquids, and if you see, there's lots of different versions of this, and it has the two handles so you can carry it easily. So you can take your time and look at these different shapes of the vessels. Now, this is a very few of them. There's a lot more. So, but these are like the general, the hydra. Hydra was used to carry water. And if you look at them, there's little different styles. You could take a look at all of these if you'd like. Back to our video. Alright, so now the subjects. The subjects on the Greek vases were important. They were mainly in these categories: geometric patterns, gods and goddesses, everyday life and culture, war, and popular heroes. Now, we're going to look at some of the examples of these categories. There are many more, but these are just some that I have found to show you. Geometric patterns. Now, this is kind of the early times where they decorated mostly with these geometric designs and patterns, painted animals and humans, but not as detailed as they did get. So you see that there's a bird or a duck, and this looks like some sort of like horse or animal like that at the top, and the rest of it is all patterns and designs. Okay, geometric patterns and designs. These are circles, spirals, and the borders here. Okay, this is what was happening at this time. Now, if you notice right here, you might be familiar with this shape here. If you might have seen it in different places. It's called a Greek key, and they used it for decorations, and it has become very popular. Greek key designs, they're also called a meander. They're decorative borders created from a continuous line which creates a repeated pattern. Now, they were used throughout history, and Greeks were influenced by probably Egyptian art when they created this, and they have influenced other cultures with this key design, including now. We still use this. So if you see, these are some examples of Greek vases with this key design. This is a picture of a vase, and see how it's kind of like old and it's falling apart a little pieces are coming off, but this is actually the design that is there. And this is the vase, the big picture of the vase. This is a small close-up of this particular vase, and you see that there are very simplified pictures of humans and animals and things, but mostly this decorative patterning everywhere, and that Greek key. Now, these are some pictures here that are modern uses of the Greek key, which is a very popular use in decorative interior design. It's still around, and it's very influenced by these Greek keys. It's a direct influence. And we're going to look at more of the subjects. So another subject is gods and goddesses, or popular heroes. And if you can see these, there are different versions of, like we have a couple of Athena. This one's Athena, the goddess of war. This is Athena and Poseidon, the god of the sea. You see how he has a trident, and you can tell that he's Poseidon because of that. And Athena has her war helmet on. You can see it's here as well, her shield. All these different symbols of what their god or goddess is of. So you could tell she's Athena, goddess of war. And if you look over here, Ares, the god of war, has his helmet and his spear and his shield as well. And here is Apollo, god of the sun, and Artemis, goddess of the moon. And they have their symbols with them as well, and they are considered gods and goddesses of the sun and the moon. And you can see the Greek key, if you look, is around them here. So that is one of the subjects. Everyday life and culture was something that they put on their vases. The weaving vase, where it shows making a blanket from the very beginning to the end around the vase. This one is in the Museum of Fine Arts, I believe, in Boston, which I would like to see. And there are other ones of women playing the flute, running the race in the games, the Olympic Games, man riding a chariot in the Olympic Games. And these are Achilles and Ajax playing a game. And if you look, you can see more examples of what happens in daily life. Agriculture, children, death and burial, education, music and entertainment, religion, slavery, and spinning and weaving. All these different versions or different ideas of what happens in their daily life. So you can look at these if you'd like. Okay, so next is war. Now, they have always had this as a subject on their vases. It was very popular. And they would show single combat during the war. They would show warships in Grecian times, Athena fighting in the Trojan War, and different versions of the Trojan War. There's actually on one of the museum sites, you can look at all the vases that show the Trojan War that they have in their collection, and it almost tells the story as you look at all those vases. But war was definitely one of the big subjects. Now, there are many styles of modern vases, and they are definitely inspired by the shapes of the Greek vases we have seen. Now you can see that some of them have the double handles. There's lots of the different styles that look very much like the ancient Greek vase styles. Now also, there are some vases that have very modern shapes, so some of our vases do not even have any close resemblance to the Greek styles. Now you have some robots here and some flowers, some different styles of vases, but these two here, these two in this one compilation picture definitely do look like an ancient Greek vase style, so those two are also influenced by Greek vases. Now you have some vases now that hang on the wall, and some are shaped like animals. Some are crazy looking. And look how big these are. That's a chair, so that one's a giant vase. So vases have come very far from the ancient designs, but also have started to build up to these different, more modern versions. And these ones, you can even buy a vase to wear if you'd like. Now we are going to create a vase. And to start with, you are going to create your vase design, your Greek vase design. You're going to create a paper vase. You will choose a subject for your design based on either a sport you play, a hobby, or an aspect of your daily life. You are going to decorate it using elements from that subject. So for instance, if you choose soccer, you can put on that vase different elements of soccer. For instance, you could use, in your decorations of your borders, you can use the net in your soccer net. You could have the borders being crisscross net design, and you can have a border of soccer balls around the edges. You can put Greek key borders and different designs like this. And in the middle will be a picture of you playing soccer. Now you can create this based on the vase, the Greek vase design. So you're going to make it like kind of like a silhouette. You don't have to do crazy detail. This picture here shows a lot of detail, and you don't even have to go that far if you'd like. Basically, remember that Greek silhouettes have some detail on them, but they're also very simple. Now you can also, again, like I said, use the Greek key if you'd like, and you can either use the link that I gave you or make your own Greek key to put on your vase. Then, after you're done with it, you are going to glue it on construction paper and complete it with Sharpie. So it looks nice and it's ready for you to use, because this is going to be a reference for your design for your 3D paper mache vase, which is our final project. You will be making a 3D paper mache vase for our final, and you see some of these pictures are showing little details about how we do this. You're going to use a circle as your base to start your design. We have used balloons in the past, but we are going to use inflatable beach balls because they are more appropriate for school, because some people have latex allergies and I don't want anyone to getting any reactions. But you can use balloons if you are not allergic in making your own designs later. Now these here are showing some construction with cardboard and other elements, and I will teach you more about this in another video, in our actual construction video. Now you're going to be painting your design that you created on your paper vase. You're going to be putting it on your actual 3D paper mache vase when you are finished. You are going to use that design and paint it on your vase. You'll be painting in one color in its tints and shades. Remember how we did our color design project lesson, the last lesson we did? You are going to use tints and shades to create your color for your vase. If you see in this picture, they have started to make the Greek keys in their designs using black only, but we are going to be using tints and shades as well. So remember how to make our tints and shades. Tints is mixed with the pure color mixed with white, and shade is the pure color mixed with black. So that is what we are going to make for our design. Now make sure to experiment with your design and be creative. You can go with a basic Greek vase design or create your own design, and don't forget to have fun. You are going to be answering a couple discussion questions, which are right here. Why do you think artwork is important in history? What is the purpose of creating replicas of famous artworks from the past? What does the subjects on Greek vases tell us about their culture? What subject will you choose for your vase? And what does the subject tell the viewer about you as a person? Here is our citation page where you got your items. Thanks for listening, and you are going to answer your discussion questions and be ready for tomorrow in class, where we're going to be discussing those answers and going right into making your paper vase.